Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
So, the girls are fighting. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Moral of the Story, and for today's story, we are going to go over the Steven Crowder versus the Daily Wire situation. And of course, the Daily Wire got Candace Owens doing that dirty work, so her response is included as well.
People, please use your common sense. It's not even because I work for Daily Wire. It is because he personally he's lying, and he insulted me. And during his lying campaign, he's still lying. He even said something in this video where he's like, now they're sending out their, no. You took, if you're gonna aim and you're gonna hit somebody with shrapnel and it's gonna be me, you better aim correctly.
A few days ago, Steven Crowder released a YouTube video called It's Time to Stop, calling out conservative media companies for operating like big tech companies. If you're confused about what big tech is, there are companies like Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google, what else? Microsoft. And he briefly goes over a contract that was presented to him by the Daily Wire a few months ago.
And I saw the clause come out. And I don't just mean unreasonable demands for control, but what I would argue are immoral terms that actually punish conservative content creators on behalf of big tech. And that's something that I just couldn't unsee. Don't sign these contracts. I now know what you are signing out there. I have the luxury of not having to. I don't have to be here. I don't have to say this. Please, don't sign this. Let me go through this. Effectively, full ownership of all your social media platforms, channels, in perpetuity, the rights to your content, name, image, likeness, even the ones that you've built. Don't sign contracts out there that include multi-million-dollar penalties.
Basically, conservative media companies have a big issue with censorship, which I feel like we all should have an issue with censorship. But if we're going to be honest, the right side has more of an issue with this than the left side, because society seems to be tending more to the left than the right. So they have a big issue with this, and I understand why. Based off of the contract that was given to Crowder, he would basically have to play ball with the same terms and conditions that big tech give other companies. And this is very hypocritical because this is the same thing that conservative media companies call out. So he's kind of like, what's going on here? And on top of it, this contract is coming from people who are supposed to be his allies. So it makes it 10 times worse. And look, people keep saying that Crowder is just upset because he's not getting enough money and this, that, and the third. And look, even if that is the issue, maybe he's just using this big tech thing as a front to really just complain about the money that he was given or he was offered. But regardless, even if that were the case, I still feel like he has a great point of what he's saying. Like if conservative media companies are telling their audience, I'm fighting for your freedom of speech, middle fingers up to big tech, and then give contracts out to their employees that are very similar to big tech's contracts, it's very backwards. And I can see why he's upset. And I was sticking strong with Crowder until Candace Owens had to clap back. All right, let's see what she got to say.
He's just saying shit, right? And it's not like he's reached out to us and said, hey, like, I'm doing this for all of us. Like, it's not he reached out independently to Daily Wire hosts and been like, are you dealing with these egregious terms? No, he is doing this purely, let's not even try to make this anything but a selfish act that was to benefit Steven Crowder, who wants to launch his own network. Because, and by the way, I gotta say this is the most important part of this, and nobody is talking about this. He receives the term sheet, okay? And he thinks it's so egregious that he's got to make this video 4 months later, right? I don't know what happened in those 4 months after they started negotiating. I guess Steven Crowder woke up, new year, new me. I hate the Daily Wire, so I'm going to go after them. He thinks it's so egregious. The first thing he does is counteroffer and say, let's start talking about 140 million, okay? So if it was so outrageous, why did he go back to them and say, no, actually, we can have this conversation, but let's start talking about 140 million?
See that right there? That's pretty sus, right? If Crowder was really about this movement, what he said, he was like, it's not about the money, it's about a country, it's about a move. What did he say?
They keep talking about money. I'm talking about a country. I'm talking about a movement. I'm talking about making a difference.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
So if that really were true, if it really were not about the money, then why are you coming back 4 months later, Crowder, and renegotiating your terms, the terms that you said that were so absurd, and ask for more money? It just doesn't really make sense. And then Candace goes on to say something else that really made me realize how Crowder came out with this information was entirely wrong. Because keep in mind, Crowder also recorded one of his friends without them knowing in order to play it in front of the public, which was really, really like, come on. You're down bad. You're down bad for that one, Crowder.
They don't get deals that...
They can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand. They can be wage slaves for a little bit. They can be wage slaves for a little bit.
But let's see what else Candace has to say.
It should be mentioned, that conversation, so they stopped negotiating completely, which Jeremy made clear in his video. This was over. He doesn't even know what this is coming from because this conversation stopped when Steven Crowder then came back with a counter term sheet offer of a glorious $140 million over X amount of years. And they said, we just can't do this, right? Then he sat and he stewed and he said nothing until 1 week ago. He reaches out to Jeremy and he asks him to talk on the phone. And that was 1 week ago. That is the conversation that guys are all hearing that he is playing right now. So he plotted this. This is a plot line. He planned to then record him to go back and to make this video. If he had recorded this way back during negotiations, maybe you could say there was no plot. Why did he reach out to Jeremy exactly 1 week ago when they hadn't discussed anything pertaining to the contract and they said no and walked away last year around October, November? And then suddenly in January, he reaches out 1 week ago and says, hey, can we get on the phone? And he decides, maybe I should record this. No, it's because he realized he had nowhere left to go. And his next plot in this storyline, in this terrible childhood acting that he's doing right now, was, okay, I have to do my own thing now. And so I need to drum up some drama to get everybody that I know to believe that I'm a martyr for our beliefs and they should dump their subscriptions to everybody else that's part of BigCon and join the Mug Club.
All right, everybody clap for Candace. I know y'all don't like her, but clap for Candace. All right, she made some points. Points were made. Because at the end of the day, to be honest, this ends the whole debate. I'm gonna be real. There are things that still need to be talked about. There are conversations that still need to be had. And I think Steven Crowder did push a discussion that needs to be exposed in the conservative media. But the way he went about it was just backstabbing. And I feel like because of the way that he went about this, the message he is trying to send out, saying that we need to change our companies as a whole, we need to change the censorship as a whole, no one's going to listen to him now. I mean, obviously his audience is probably going to listen to him, but if he's trying to reach to a new audience and let people be aware and raise awareness to this issue that he has, I just think he's going about it entirely wrong. At this point, people are just no one's going to want to work with you, right? No one's going to really want to work with you, and you seem untrustworthy. And out of respect for your mutuals, I think it was a conversation that should have been had behind closed doors first. Right now, like if Crowder went to the Daily Wire, told him his issues, and they were just like, F you, okay, I would understand his response and why he came out with the video a little bit more. But according to Crowder and according to the Daily Wire, this conversation was never had behind closed doors. And I just think that's entirely wrong. So moral of the story, right? If you disapprove of something that your friends have done to you or someone else, it's better to talk to them. If you really have respect for them, right? It's better to talk to them one-on-one, face-to-face, see what they say, see if they respect your issues as well, and then go from there. Really, I really think people need to pay attention to what Crowder is saying, though. I think everybody has gotten comfortable with the idea that Twitter, YouTube, Google, and all of these things have so much censorship. Like, for instance, with the Andrew Tate situation, I think people were happy that Andrew Tate was booted offline. Me personally, I don't think it's necessary because freedom of speech is valuable. It's something that we need, and it's something that we need to protect. And it is dying more and more every day. If we keep allowing these companies to monitor and censor what we say, it's going to end up bad. And for the left right now, there's not that much to worry about. So they're not really paying attention to this, right? But for the right, I see why there's such an uproar about it. As long as we allow the narrative to be controlled, how can we ever trust the information that we are receiving? If we have to comply to what they want us to say in order for us to make a living, especially if you are an influencer or a commentary person of any kind, it is harder for you to keep your living if you have to always say what they want to say and not speak your own truth, not speak how you feel. And I think we need to kind of focus in and realize that Crowder is, you may not like Crowder, I don't really like Crowder, but he is raising awareness to an issue that needs to be settled. Well, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below one of your favorite political commentators if you have one. I've been getting into politics a lot lately. I find it so interesting, and I think it's something that we all should be familiar with to some extent. So if you have one, drop it down below, and I might react to one of their videos in a future video. But all right, see you in the next one. Peace.